But the reality is,
and it was
you can.
scary looking because I'd never seen people, and I'd sit and watch. These 3 girls would do it, and I'd sit and watch them, and I'd be like, oh, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
They finish, they're just laying there on their back, maybe puking,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then once I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I am an everyday athlete.
I am an everyday athlete. I am an everyday athlete.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jared Bass with Mark McCain, and you are listening to Everyday Athlete, a podcast devoted to bringing you the amazing stories behind the lives of day-to-day CrossFit athletes like yourself. And today we have longtime member, very strong person, awesome person all around, Jayne Collins. Welcome. I need a little clapping. I think we talked about that, little clapping button. So there's an audience in the background.
Pretend.
Yes.
We don't have the budget for that right now.
No, we do not. Welcome, Jayne. You just got done with the workout. How you feel?
I did. Feel good.
Did you do it the first time around?
No, I did not have a...
You didn't do it the first time? No. It's all right. How was it this time? It was only 50 thrusters and
only.
50 toes a bar and 100 calories. Pretty quick little workout.
The row hurt.
The row hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you do it
I did it
straight through?
Thrusters, toes to bar row. I started the other way.
Yeah, but then you get off the row and have to do thrusters again.
Ouch.
Yeah. No thanks. No bueno. No bueno. Well, anyways, so are you from our little... Have you always been from where you are at right now? Is that like your childhood home?
Pretty much so.
Pretty
Fort
much.
Mitchell.
Yeah, Fort Mitchell.
Have you
area?
always been from where you're from?
Right, yeah. This is what happens when you coach the morning classes.
Fort Mitchell, Kentucky.
Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. All right. So, what does that make you as far as high school? Because that's like a big Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky thing.
I went to Notre Dame Academy.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All
girl.
All girl. I went to the all guy Catholic version over in the west side of Cincinnati. So, I feel you. I think Becca was telling me how she had a girl the other day at Mount Notre Dame, where she had a fourth generation girl, and she had the first generation shirt.
Oh, wow.
So they just hand-me-down shirts. I can't imagine that was in too great of shape at that point.
Yeah, like I was, I think, 3rd generation.
Yeah.
When I went.
Yeah. It was first. My brother went to LaSalle after that, and both my sisters went to Macaulay, which I think have now merged into a very creative name for a school. I think it's just Mercy Macaulay.
Oh, that's right.
Or Macaulay Mercy, whatever it is. I don't know. We were talking a little bit before we jumped on here about how you used to be a part of this building that was not CrossFit, correct?
My world has come full circle.
Full circle. What was it when you were here?
It was called Northern Kentucky Gymnastics.
Northern Kentucky Gymnastics. And when was that?
God.
Oh boy, you don't have to.
I started gymnastics. Well, I took dance, did gymnastics there, and then my mom decided I needed. So I did team at the Y, which is no longer here, and
What is team?
like competed.
Oh wow, okay.
And I think it was like 7 or 8 when I did that, and I loved it, and I did really good. But I wanted to learn, and you literally did your routine all the time. Like you never ventured out of.
So you kind of pigeonholed yourself into like this.
So
yeah.
The Northern Kentucky Gymnastics here, I could come and do a class.
Yeah.
Like I'd be here for 2 hours, one day a week, and I was with all older kids because I wanted to learn aerials and flips, and
Sure.
so this is where I started.
Yeah. So walking in, what was that like? Just kind of coming because I mean you've been with us for pretty much since the get-go as far as I can remember. Yeah. Were you there when we originally took over?
Yes.
Yeah. So she was a part of the old gym, transferred into us and stuck with us. So thank you for that, by the way. But when we moved, it was kind of happen chance on finding this building. And at the time it was, cheer. Was that right? I don't want to get it wrong with people who it was cheerleading. Is that what it was when we moved in?
Yeah. Cheerleading and some gymnastics for sure.
Yeah. But, we had a couple people who came up to us, Jayne being the one of them was like, I used to do gymnastics here.
Yeah, when you guys moved in here, I was out of town.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't get to come in right away. And then when I came in, it was like, oh.
Oh, after we had done everything to it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, when we moved in, it was a little bit different story. Probably still wasn't even the same. I'm sure they painted it from even when.
It's pretty similar.
Pretty similar, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like, so you did gymnastics. Did you do any other sports and stuff growing up?
I pretty much played everything but basketball.
Okay.
Just wasn't my thing.
Everything but basketball, so like soccer,
Played soccer.
softball.
I did softball 1 year. I liked softball, but softball was the same day as swimming and diving meets. And
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. You're a swimmer.
I
A little bit of everything. I mean, did you have any free time to yourself as a child?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I took dance.
Yeah.
Free time.
Yeah. Well, it's just it sounds very, very busy, but you are also very athletic. So obviously it's transferred over in the later life, and I think we see that people who are involved in sports early on, how they just have body awareness.
I laugh because my mom is one of 7, and her mom passed away before I was born, so their family's very close. And my 2 aunts were younger when I was born, and the one was sports, volleyball, like she was awesome volleyball, and the other one was more dance.
Right.
So by the time I was 3, 4, my one aunt would throw a volleyball to me. I could set a volleyball.
Right.
And the other one had me doing flips, and so it was kind of like I had the best of both worlds.
Some mentors, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that's, whenever, like I said, whenever we get people in here who have either have played sports in the past or we have younger people that come in, they are playing sports now, you see a direct correlation on the ability to tell them to do something and their ability to interpret it and actually do it. And there's nothing wrong if you don't play sports growing up, but I do think there's a direct correlation now, especially as adults learning some of these new skills. Things that higher skilled gymnastic stuff like toes to bar,
Well, I think it's weird how your body remembers things.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you haven't done, like for me, deadlifts are so hard and everybody's like, you should be able to do it. But my body is used to being tucked in. Mm-hmm. Like everything I ever did, you're and to
extend.
Go the opposite direction. Yeah.
You don't realize, it's like, that shouldn't be hard.
Yeah. But
that's a really good point.
Yeah. And the opposite side of that, though, is when it comes time to, we focus a lot on the arch hollow swings. You have a really good position because it's something you learned from a very early age. And for some people, that's a really tough position to say active shoulder, and then you can explain to them what it means, but they don't necessarily know what it means, and you've had that innate kind of built-in sense from a very early age that says, oh, well, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Well, it's like the control. Like I have a control issue where I'm used to my body being in control, and it's hard to
lose control. Yeah, I basically classify you as a cheater. So I played sports my whole life, but I wouldn't consider myself having great body awareness. So I think gymnastics in particular, anyone that we see, it's kind of brought to light a lot in CrossFit whenever people like walk on their hands. It's like you see these like scorpion looking like walking on the hands, and then you see one that stands out. It's Julia Fouché. Whenever she walks on her hands, it's like a pencil. It's like straight up and down. You're like, oh, why is she doing that? It's like, that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
So if I am fortunate to have kids one day or I would love to get them involved in gymnastics at an early age, because I think for those beneficial reasons of having that body awareness. And, you probably, whether you know it or not, you're probably getting a lot of strength work, whenever they're telling you to hold on to rings and, do these tucks like you're saying and different things like that. That's a lot of good strength work.
Yeah. And even if they don't necessarily stick with it, I mean, I took gymnastics as a kid, and I don't even necessarily remember it, but I do think there's definite.
It's a great hand-eye coordination.
Yeah,
type.
Absolutely. Especially in those developmental years when you're still, when you're growing very, very, very quickly. It's really important to be able to, like you said, develop that. Like, if I tell you to move your right hand here, be able to move your right hand here.
Well, I nanny.
Yeah.
And one of the families I nannied for a long time, they had a little girl. God, now she's 17, but when she was little, I could kind of see it in her, and I'd be like, Tia, do a handstand. Tia, do this. And so I got her into gymnastics. Well, now she's a level 9 competitive gymnast.
Heck yeah.
How does that work? Because I've heard that before. Level X.
You go up to 10, and then after 10, it's I forget what it's called, but basically it's 10, then it's this other level, and then
Professional.
well, it's gymnastics makes baseball look. You look at the minor leagues and
Simple.
it's
Right.
Yeah. And then we went to this meet in Chicago with her when she was little, and you look at all these people trying for basically you get 5 spots on a gymnastics the Olympic team because
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. To get
slim percentage you're gonna make that.
And yeah, you can go to college but past college.
Yeah, you don't really think
There's
about
not really
that.
if
There's not a
you-
professional
No.
gymnastics league. Yeah, that's
There
pretty
should
crazy.
be.
Yeah, there really should be. There's some of the most athletic people I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean,
I would love to bring Tia in here. I can't imagine what she would do.
it's unreal, and it's funny too. This will be aired after the fact, but this Saturday when we have the gymnastics clinic, it's everyone's like big things like muscle up, and then any gymnastics coach is like, okay, now what? Like that's how we get on the rings.
Yeah.
Here's an 8-year-old. Oh, he did a muscle up. It's really it's the pinnacle of what we consider gymnastics and CrossFit, but it is not even necessarily a movement when it comes to actual gymnastics.
That's what 1 year. Well, when I was here doing gymnastics, we had a day. It was switch over day, so the girls got to do the boy events and the boys got to do the girl events, and that was one doing the rings. I remember coming home and I was like, Mom, those were the hardest things I've ever tried in my life.
Do females don't do the rings
No.
usually? Okay, I guess I never realized that.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I guess the guys
The only thing they do similar the floor,
The floor. Oh, okay.
say the beams and stuff like that. Those are all
beam
female.
bars. Well, and they do vault. They both do vault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'll tell you, I mean, from not having zero gymnastics training growing up and pretty much until you can call CrossFit, I guess, a little foray into gymnastics, but in particular, just the first time trying to hold myself on support on rings, you're like, whoa, those people do what?
Yeah.
So anytime, it's one of the things I like about CrossFit's opened my perspective up to different, weightlifting, how impressive it is to watch that sport in the Olympics now, and then especially gymnastics. And when you look at those guys and girls, they look a lot like CrossFitters,
Yeah.
or CrossFitters look a lot like them, or however you want to phrase it. But they are ripped.
Yeah.
I mean, they are ripped beyond all belief. I'm like, again, some of the guys are a little shorter and whatever, but they are still just unbelievably fit. And,
Yeah.
and whenever you dive into their methodology of training and stuff like that, it is, they do poke fun at the CrossFit, a little bit here and there, and for good reason, because they are such perfectionists and have to nail this routine, probably, like you said, to the point where it's just annoying. And I know whenever they do rope climbs, they never use their legs. They'll go upside down, they'll hold the L, and they're like, I was listening to a podcast with one of their head coaches one time, and he's like, why do they use their legs when they climb the rope? And I'm like, why wouldn't we use our legs? It makes it easier.
Because I don't want to fall.
Yeah.
That's pretty
because
much.
we're not sliding down.
But
Yeah.
they talk a lot about that bent arm strength, and they talk about rope climbing. That's a lot of bent arm strength and straight arm strength, so on and so forth, and then really revolves around that hollow and arch that we try to incorporate as much as we can.
I think the exciting part about that, though, when you speak specifically about gymnastics, is, and this goes back to even when Rudy was talking about, he's like, because their big thing was, well, weightlifting is the next kind of hill and mountain to conquer as far as CrossFit, and now everyone can be everyone's a weightlifter in that regional and games level. I think the next part is now gymnastics, and the high skill gymnastic stuff, because again, we haven't even scratched 1% of the surface when it comes to what can be done in the gymnastics world, and that's almost, with weightlifting you have snatch, clean, jerk. By definition, you have the snatch, you have the clean, jerk.
Gymnastics is a little more vast.
Yeah, when you
if
have,
you're like, all right, you got to do a
Exactly.
backflip and then climb this rope. It's you're getting a little niche with some of that stuff, but still, if you root yourself in the fundamentals of gymnastics, then
well, just look when they think about, just pegboard, strict handstand push-ups, strict muscle-ups.
Sure.
When they threw all three of those in either the regional or the games level, people lost their
game
minds.
changer.
People lost their minds, like, oh, there's no way we can do this. And then guess what? Next year, everyone's really good at them.
Right.
You know, but the exciting part is I've seen workouts here and there they've been dabbled with where it's like, go do XYZ, come back, 3 back tucks. You know, and you watch some of these people, you watch, you know, I think it was Froning. They did that, and it was like guy learned it in an hour.
Probably.
You know,
I was Kalipa.
Kalipa, yeah.
Well, and they've got the muscle to.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot of that's being, you know, sort of dabble in that, and I think you look 10 years down the road, and like a back tuck is going to be like what
Standard.
we can. Yeah, standard.
Right.
You know, like
3, 2, 1, go. Back
yeah,
tuck.
Yeah. It's
Like, can we bring the trampoline back?
Yeah.
You have Grace 30 clean and jerks for time, Isabel 30 snatches for time, and whatever name they're going to call it will be 30 back tucks for time. You know?
Yeah, if you like spun me around the circle 3 times, I would get dizzy. So I'd be definitely out on that one.
But I think that's the exciting part, though, especially when you have, you know, you start to see people who are willing to share and not just, you know, down talk, you know, CrossFit from the gymnastic sense, but like, hey, let's teach these people how to do it. Because I think that's, for such a long time, there's no money in adult gymnastics.
Right.
Because it's like, well, I'm not going to teach a 35-year-old how to swing on the rings when I need to teach these.
I took a class in, I guess it was high school, which was an adult, but
Yeah. But you're already cool.
You were so old
Yeah,
for
you're-
gymnastics.
But
know,
you
I was
are.
standards.
past
Yeah.
the
Right.
prime, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's like, could I do a back bend? I don't know.
Yeah.
Gymnastics, they want you to like probably like what, age 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9, 10.
7, 8? I can count at least to 20.
It depends on how. I mean, you have to look at the kid. And,
Yeah. I mean, again, I think just to touch upon that point a little bit about gymnastics and adults and so on and so forth. But I think if you are running a gymnastics place, you have to look at what CrossFit is doing again for the exposure of your sport. Just like weightlifting has basically been revitalized through, CrossFit, gymnastics in a certain sense. I just spoke to the mindset of like, hey, if I'm lucky enough to have kids, it has to be changing that perception for more than just me, where you're like, wow, do I really want to be maximally loading, 3, 4, 5-year-old with weights? No, but what can they do? They can learn some fundamental gymnastics and body awareness at that age that will, transfer over, which we see every time that Jayne does the toes to bar. I'm like, man, I'm jealous of that. Because you like straight legs, all like nice and perfect.
It's that control thing.
Yeah, and it's
The swinging
it's
part.
innate with you. Like for me, it's like I gotta like concentrate way more, and just like a natural movement for you. And it's definitely again, obviously we'll let you speak to it, but you're super strong overhead, and your mobility is really good in your shoulders. So I'm sure that gymnastics didn't hurt with that as well, being upside down a lot. And
Well, and that's what I like about CrossFit. It kind of brought it back into my life. Like,
yeah.
Well, to speak what Mark said, if you're, for the millions of people obviously listening to this,
Yeah.
if you do own a gymnastic, I mean, there's such opportunity there just from a business sense for growth within your 4 walls. I mean, just like we try and do here, we pay rent 24/7. You try and maximize it, right? Why not offer that adult gym? It's a different world. Like you have to reach. Just same as if we have a CrossFit Kids class, we do not train them the same
Right.
as we do for adults. Vice versa, if you have basically a class or a gym full of small children to young adolescents, you're not going to train them the same as adults, because the big difference being is, like Mark said, I'm not going to load up a 5-year-old,
Right.
but in adult gymnastics, you're not going to load up. You're not going to go make them do back bends on day 3,
Right.
Right.
But there's significant opportunity there to really, just teach people new skills. I think that's, for whatever reason, it's like you hit adulthood and you're like, well, I'm just done learning.
My little cousins love it because they'll be like, do this, do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're a walking party trick, to a certain extent. You're like, I can pop up on my hands real quick. It was kind of funny story. Lauren's old roommate, and in college and whatnot, we just got talking to one day or whatever, and she was like, yeah, I used to do gymnastics. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like for how long? She's like, forever. And I was like, so you can probably like walk on your hands. And she was like, you know what? I haven't tried it in a while. I'm going to try it. She just literally got up, started walking on her hands around the apartment. I'm like, I am so jealous of you right now.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. It was just like, she just did that for so long. And she didn't even realize, like, hey, there's a whole population that is CrossFit that really struggle with these kind of, you know, what a lot of gymnasts, again, she was out of practice for years, would consider basic stuff.
Yeah.
When I went from gymnastics to diving, so similar, but you go from landing on your feet to going on your head. So it's
Yeah, well, it's a lot of control, though. So when you talk about diving, I know there's different heights as far as diving, right? I mean,
I only did 1 and 3 meter.
Okay.
I didn't do platform.
And then platform
with
is
the
like
springy?
10 and...
Yeah,
springboard.
Yeah, springboard.
What's the highest one?
10 meter.
10 meter?
I went to walk up one time. And I
No
was
thanks.
Like, yep, I think I'll turn back around.
I've done I guess it would probably be... What's the middle one? Because they have...
There's like a 5 and a 7, I think.
Okay. I've done like a 7, and like basically you just jump off
Yeah.
and flail your arms in the air. Go, I'm not gonna die. But that's
Pencil dive.
basically that and cliff diving. Is
We
the
used
same
to go up to a pool in Indianapolis that had a bubble pool, so you could learn new dives, and it's like this massive thing of bubbles comes up pretty much as high as the 1 meter board. So if you would normally smack, it doesn't hurt.
That's pretty cool. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah.
Like soap bubbles. I mean,
Google it.
I know.
Not like soap. I mean, but it's like a
I'm gonna look this up while you're talking.
Magical
hot
bubble.
tub type bubbles.
Oh, okay.
But they're so when you're going to learn a new dive, it would go up there, and you kind of done the pre-practice, and then you go try it, and you're not coming back with welts. And
Water version of a foam pit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's super interesting.
They have them
So-
in Miami, and
So as far as how you saw that transfer over, I mean, there had to have been, because I mean, you're basically just doing same kind of flips you would, right, on a gymnastics floor.
yeah. I mean, I did diving in the summer, so it wasn't like huge. Like, it wasn't like I stopped one and
Right.
But once I got older, it was kind of like, oh, I think I could probably do diving. Like, I dove all through high school, and
Right.
now, mind you, my competition went to the Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Legit got 4th place in the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I mean that's one of those too. We do have the Winter Olympics coming up, and out of the two, the Winter Olympics is not for me not as exciting. But when you watch some of those, I was watching just recently the X Games, but they had the slope style snowboarding, and this kid was 15 doing 1440 twist plus backflips and stuff. I mean, it's just like Mark said, spin me around 3 times and I'm lost.
Yeah.
This kid is doing it in the air while flipping and then landing it at 14 or 15 years old. It's unbelievable to see just that ability, just that mindset, that wherewithal to be able to I'm just gonna. This is my life. This is what I'm gonna do.
I mean, Becky was she was one of those, or still is, nicest person in the world. You would never think you were so excited for her, and you knew she was going.
She's just that good, and you can just see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Just along in my short time being in sports and things like that. But you just see those people, and like that person, whatever it is, it's the combination, I think, of just natural genetic ability coupled with hard work. Coupled with a couple lucky
Yeah,
breaks
it's a
here
lot
and
of
there.
hard work. It's
Thank you, Jarrett.
You're welcome. That's how you made it.
Yeah, with diving, right, it's like all about minimal splash, right? So it's like
Going
you
in
gotta
straight, going
boom, 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 and then I like watching diving, but I will be honest, it freaks me out whenever those guys or girls or whoever's doing the dive from the I guess it would be like a concrete platform or whatever they're standing on, and their heads get like so close.
Like Greg Louganis, right?
Oh man, that's tough.
I have marks on the back of my heels from hitting my feet on back dives.
That like makes me cringe just
Because
thinking about it.
I didn't like back dives off the high board, so I wouldn't jump high enough, so I would hit.
Oh.
And I seriously have a mark.
Oh.
But
No
they'll
thanks.
like headstand or handstand up there before they go sometimes,
I know.
like kick their feet.
Yeah,
It's
I
super athletic,
didn't
but
do
it
any
is
of that.
scary.
Do you? So when you land, when you go, well, I don't know.
Your
is it
hands
landing? They're flat,
like,
right?
Yeah.
Because that makes it like an air pocket,
Yeah.
right? So you don't,
You're like
you
over
don't
top
want,
of your head. Like,
because you don't go here,
no.
because that won't do anything.
Yeah, you have to have a flat hand and you brace
Yeah.
with the other hand.
Yeah, I've seen that before. And then you see guys with their wrist taped and stuff like that.
Well, because they're hitting the water, like
Yeah.
especially the platform divers, they're hitting the water so hard
Yeah,
that
that's like concrete when you land,
yeah.
and that's why you see, it's like a hose basically that'll push water up, so it
Yeah,
breaks
so it
breaks
and
the
it
surface
shows,
tension.
It shows you where you're landing. Like when they shoot out the water, so you
Gotcha.
can see it. Because if not, you
You don't really have any foresight. No.
learn
So I'm
something
learning
new.
so many things
So
now.
many things.
All right, Mark and I are going to the Y after this. So you got your Speedo with you?
Every day.
Every
Practice
day.
some
I'm wearing it
diving.
right now.
How deep is the pool? Just out of curiosity, typically have to be for? Does it range or? In
They're
case
pretty
of,
deep when
Yeah.
they have the platforms up there.
for sure.
I don't remember how
Yeah.
deep they are, but I always liked to touch the bottom so you could push up. And when we'd be in the big pools, like we did state at UK all the time, and you kind of lose your breath coming back up. You're like,
I remember not a professional diver, I will say that, but there was a gentleman that went on spring break with us our senior year that jumped off the roof of our hotel
Into the pool?
into a 8-foot hotel.
Ooh.
And man, like, so there's, I mean, this
Head
pool,
first?
no,
Oh, that's good.
no, he was not that intoxicated, but there's a rope in the middle of the pool, the rope. Let's be honest. Like, did that ever stop someone from
No.
like going to the deep end? Anyway, he
better
had to
stop
clear
you.
the rope. I mean, it was like margin for error. It was actually really impressive. Like, he clearly has done this before. And he was an older kid that, we were all seniors, obviously, spring break senior year. Anyway, but I mean, I like couldn't believe it, but he hit his butt so hard on the bottom of the pool that I think he had like a big scrape. But anyway, it was, it was super not safe, but
Yeah.
he did it anyway. So anyway,
So you're saying don't try that.
don't try that.
Don't try that.
Don't try that. You want to, that was the whole genesis of the question, how deep was the pool? So that people are listening like, oh, you know what? I'm going to try this diving
I
thing.
want to say it's like 15, 17 feet. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty deep.
I'm going to try this diving thing. I'm going to start in my grandma's pool.
Yeah.
It's an above ground pool.
I bought my pool from Walmart. Is this safe? No.
Oh my
it's not.
gosh. The more extreme version of that is you see cliff divers.
That scares me.
Yeah.
They are, I mean, because they're like 60, 70 feet up, right?
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's intense when you just see those guys and they just
I'll watch
they'll just
that
do
on E
one.
ESPN.
Yeah, they'll just do like one big beautiful swan dive and just land on their feet. Like, because obviously you're not going in head first because
Right,
you'll break
you
your
don't know what
arms.
you're-
But these guys, you're talking about guys taping their wrists to brace themselves. These guys have both their ankles taped, have their legs taped, their knees taped, knee wraps on. It's like,
Belt.
yeah, pretty just ratchet it up. All right, I'm going
Here I
in.
go.
Yeah. Anyways, I digress. Back to CrossFit. Diving in CrossFit. Are we gonna add that?
Well,
should
that
be
goes
in
to the
there.
control thing too, because that you really have to control.
I do
there.
remember the very first time they had swimming, and who are the big hosts? It's Rory and I don't know. I think even Rory said it, but he's like, I think Jason Cleve was swimming across the pool, and he's like, "Look at that, muscle don't float."
Yeah, man, it was a game changer. I think that's the most exciting thing about the CrossFit Games every year, is they throw these wrinkles in, and it's the ripple effect of that is in every gym now. So it's like pegboards are now in gyms.
Yeah.
Swimming is now in games, regional even athletes protocol.
Oh,
for
you've got
even just casual, open.
regional competitions. Not even talking about CrossFit regionals. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about, look at the Wadapalooza, down in
Yeah.
Miami. They are you have to be able to swim and bike, and
Yeah.
it is not just in this gym. And that's one thing we try and focus on here too, is you got to get people like doing stuff outside. Like Coach Derek is skiing right now. Like, you don't
Did he
think
make it?
They finally did make it. I got a Snapchat at like 3 p.m. and it was just a
He's got
Snapchat
the worst luck. with
Snapchat of
travel.
Amy sleeping on the floor at the airport, and I said, "Get get back here to coach.
I saw that yesterday. I just started laughing. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. But the point being is, like, you don't think that skiing is going to be easier if you have more control, through your midline, or if again, just having more body awareness. Like, you're going to be a better athlete all around, and I think that's one big carryover.
It's one of those things too, where you're doing some things like skiing, where maybe it's gonna lead to an injury or something. Let's just say that unfortunately you're skiing, something bad happens. Like, would you rather have a good base of fitness around you to be able to like recover faster,
right?
Or is it like, well, I just ski every once in a while and I work an office job? It's substantially going to improve your recovery time or just your enjoyment time of doing it, because if you don't really do much, and again, I don't have a lot of experience with skiing, but if you go skiing for a week, you're going to be sore. Yep. You're going to be like bedridden probably for the next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Jay, maybe you can talk a little bit about how you got started with CrossFit. I know the origins, probably a lot of most people listening to this, all 10 of them, are original probably members of the gym currently that might not know, like, hey, this was the group that kind of started out, and this is how we got going, and how that's kind of transformed.
I started with Joy, my sister-in-law, and my brother. There was a class at Silver Lake that it was even before they started their kind of CrossFit class, and it was a kind of like a boot camp / you did a little more, because I always worked out, but I would do like the arc trainer. I did a lot of cardio. I didn't do the weights on my own because I'd do some, but not a whole lot. So they were like, come to this class with us. So I did it, and I was like, okay. And it was, I think, twice a week. And then that guy was leaving. So we met Matt, who started the CrossFit stuff, who owned the gym before you guys. Right. So that's kind of how because I can remember watching people as I'm on the arc trainer. They were doing box jumps, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd never be able to do that.
Yeah.
No.
And but look at you now.
Well, and again, the funny part is like, you have way more of an athletic background than most people, and you're like, I can't do that. And I think it just speaks to your humility. You don't see it nearly as often as you used to, but I mean, people that would just come in here and be like, well, I can do that. Like, all right, let's see it. And then
good for you.
Good, right? Well, and then they would get their butt whooped, and they'd never come back because they were embarrassed because they couldn't do something. But like, you've been an athlete your whole life, and you're like, well, I couldn't do that. It looks too hard. But the reality is,
it was scary looking, because I'd never seen people, and I'd sit and watch. These 3 girls would do it, and I'd sit and watch them, and I'd be like, that looks terrible.
Yeah.
They finish, they're just laying there on their back, maybe puking, whatever.
And then once I was like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah. So then you met, we all met, obviously, coming up on 5 years now. Only a short 6 months away. But 5 years. What's 6 months on 5 years? But what has been, the big kind of what makes you keep coming back? I mean, that's always a big question, because anyone that's been doing this for that long, it's not like a one kind of unidirectional sport where you might get burnout on it.
I love the challenge, and it is definite my stress relief. I notice a difference when I can't come, and but it's also the people. The people are awesome, and
best part.
And it's always, and obviously you being
it's
here.
Fun.
You being here for a very long time, I think you've seen quite a few people come through the door, and made some friends along the way. I've lost some friends along the way, but I 100% agree that the people and the relationship you build here are some of the most fulfilling that I've ever had.
Oh, absolutely.
I still haven't figured out the secret sauce and why that is, but I absolutely, for whatever reason, I think just going through something that sucks together kind of breaks down any walls there may be.
Well, like Sharon Granati, she was 2 years ahead of me at high school, and so I knew her, but I know her a lot. But we laughed because people always thought we were sisters.
Oh wow, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
I mean, and so then when she started here, we've gotten really close, and It's all, it's like, wow, exercise brings you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about just that shared experience. I know, Mark, you said you've been to a couple man camps, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
it's whatever your shared experience is. It just so happens that, you get really fit doing this one.
Yeah, literally, me and Aaron did a podcast earlier today, and one of the words he used a lot was vulnerability, and it's like one of those things where CrossFit, if you do it long enough, you're going to be exposed.
Yeah.
You
can't hide
everyone
forever.
Everyone might watch Jarrett work out now and be like, oh wow, like, super fit. But I watched Jarrett in the beginning, and like I know he's worked for everything that he's got with full range of motion and so on and so forth, and he continues to do that. So it's one of those things where you just have a lot of empathy for your next person. Like, I do a lot of our day ones, and when people come in on day one, they're so, like whenever you were on your machine or whatever and watching those girls do those workouts, everyone's had that moment where they
Right.
look and they're like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And all these people are like in some type of cult, or they have like their own language. They speak Cleon or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you come beside them, and we are so blessed to have a welcoming community here that anytime someone joins, they're like, oh, already slapping high fives and cheering them on and stuff like that. That's the moment, for people to feel that acceptance, whatever it is, within your own little group, or, whether it's a family or whatever you want to call it, fraternity. But, everyone has that day one where they're up against the wall, and so people, they're empathetic to that. And then as you continue to do these workouts, like I said, you'll be exposed, which creates a vulnerability to where they're like, oh man, I thought Coach Mark could like do that, but man, he's really struggling, or whatever it is. And they're like, oh, he's, Jayne's human. And these other people.
People look at me and be like, oh, she's strong. Okay, I'm strong, but put a running thing in there. I will come in last place.
And that's how it should be. Like if you're, and again, even if you look at the CrossFit Games, Matt Frazier, super dominant. He doesn't win every workout.
Yeah.
Like no one's ever done that or ever will, because if they do, then the programming director Dave Castro has improperly programmed the CrossFit Games,
Right.
because their whole thing is, we specialize in not specializing. So for me personally, that's why CrossFit makes sense, because like I don't want to just lift weights necessarily. I want to mix in my cardio. Yeah, I like to lift weights for sure, 100%. That's why I'm biased towards it. But I understand, like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to run 400 meters from time to time, and do some stretching and mobility, and challenge myself in short, intermediate, long time domains. And but yeah, the through line for me is always the community.
Yeah. And don't forget, test your fitness.
Yeah,
I just went out and we just hiked 9 miles on accident. It was supposed to be 5 mile hike, but we hiked 9 miles, and we didn't bring proper.
It was only this long on the map.
Yeah, I don't understand. We got from here to there, and it was like
Well, it's
6
just
hours.
like stupid things, like go to the grocery. I mean, because I nanny and I take her, so I
Yeah.
And it's like for me to bring in 8.
8 bags
It's
and a
not a
child.
big deal, like-
But that's exactly in it.
It's like
people,
everyday life.
people tout on this this buzzword of functional fitness, and like that's really what we're talking about. Is like
my uncle will call me to help him move his swing set when
yeah.
I'll be like,
100%.
Can you come help me? He doesn't call my brothers. He calls
Yeah,
me.
because like that's what I want to be able to do is like, we got lost in the woods. Am I going to be okay? Yeah, I'll be fine. Can I carry all the groceries in for the whole week inside in one trip? That's, there's a little bravado there, because, you always make one trip, right? But that is truly functional. Can you carry this object from here to there safely and not feel like you just got, pushed down a mountain kind of thing? Like that's really all that we're trying to do. All the things that we do in here, all the thrusters, all the box jumps, all the rowing, those are just tools to help you live a little bit easier.
And it's different. So that's what I like. Instead of going every day to Better Bodies and doing the arc trainer.
Yeah.
So,
And those days are fine too. Like I will take those days. Like I'll sit on the rower for a half hour, and it's just something that I can just close my mind off to, and that's totally
right. Thursday,
fine.
like on Sundays, a lot of times I'll go and there's a good movie on or something.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, it's almost like a mental fitness day,
Yeah.
where you can like, all right, I'm not worried about just absolutely doing 100 burpees today and just max intensity. It's like, all right, I'm gonna lower the intensity. I'm gonna move. It's almost like a meditation, type of thing. And again, it's different for everyone. Some people are probably like, oh yeah, right. How can you row for 30 minutes and it's meditating? If you do it, if you build a decent, amount of fitness up.
Listen to anybody who runs long distance. It's
Right.
like they just talk about zoning out. And it's
Exactly.
just- I can't
You'd
imagine.
have to.
I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
imagine. I
Have
can't
to.
imagine doing it, but I
Yeah.
understand what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yeah. So you've been with us for a long time. This is like just a curiosity question for that I have for longtime members. Like, what's your goal when you talk about coming here? Because again, it's tough to keep resetting goals and new goals and new goals and new goals, because it becomes as much a variance as we have here. There are so many things that we can do inside this gym. Like what's the next goal for you? Where do you see yourself going?
I don't always set like goals of like, oh, I want to be able to lift this.
Sure.
I like to be able to come in here 5-6 days a week and be able to do my best,
Yeah.
do well and function. It's
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's a big one too.
It's a tough question.
It is a very tough question, and I ask that because we have goal setting sessions with our fundamentals people, day one people, and sometimes it takes a while to get back to goal setting after we kind of set the first couple. And I tell people all the time, weight loss is usually a pretty early and often goal for new people. They're coming here because they want to feel a little bit healthier. Maybe they want to lose some pounds. But what I generally tell them is like, that's probably going to change pretty soon. Like it's either A, you're going to hit that weight loss goal, or B, you're going to find that like, oh, that number on the scale doesn't
You're
necessarily
gaining
matter.
muscle, so you're not
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So like that might be like, okay, my first strict pull up might be a goal. It might turn into a performance goal, or it might turn into, for a lot of people, I think like tough metters are a really good test for them.
Mine is probably a chest to bar pull up because
There you go.
my
Yeah,
control issue, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't let go for that little bit to
This
push the
is
chest
different.
I always said I was gonna stuff my bra.
forward. There you go.
There you go.
That's what I do.
When it comes to goal setting, I think there's obviously a million different ways you can go with that. But I always like to start people off just with like, how many days a week do you want to be here? And that's ultimately, if we're doing our jobs properly and programming and so on and so forth, that should be the catalyst to anything physical that you're, if you're choosing to do CrossFit as your methodology. And we like to think of that as almost like a conduit, right, to enhance your overall life. Because we know, like you said earlier in this conversation about, if I'm not here, I don't feel right. So for me personally, I'm the same way. I don't have a ton of ambitious fitness goals necessarily right now. Like the Open's coming up. I'm not going to say like, I want to get this percentage, top in the Open. No, I just want to have fun. I want to have fun with it. I want to try not to take myself too seriously. I want to root for, other members of the gym. But I want to use, for me personally, CrossFit as this conduit that improves Mark as a person, as a business owner, as a husband, as a friend, as a member of the community, whatever I can do, because I know that if I don't come here consistently, Mark's not going to be his best version of himself.
Right.
So, I think whenever you're like, hey, what's your goal? Whether it's, I want to be the CEO of XYZ, or I just want to, do this race, or whatever it is, it's filling up multiple buckets in your life that you can be the best person. We all know, like, if I just have ice cream and cookies all day, it's not going to be the best version of myself.
Right.
But with our space here at CrossFit, I just know that personally, I look at it as this is my physical and almost mental training to, build up this armor, if you will, towards certain, you have a lot of peaks and valleys in life, and some of the valleys sometimes will sneak up on you. And if you're 7 days in a row removed from the gym and your diet's like crap and you haven't been sleeping, it might really knock you out. So it's just a conduit.
Well, it's like a mental therapy. It's like
Exactly.
you look at workouts some days and you're like, oh God, and you finish them and you're like, okay, I did
All right.
it.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, it's a feeling of accomplishment, and as you should, because we do some really hard things here. Like I think there's some daunting things that show up, and it is really refreshing to see people when they finish something like oh, I
Well, those are my days. Like it's like when there's a long running thing in it. It's like, okay, you've got to go. This is your treble spot, and
your
when you finish
kryptonite.
it, it's like, okay, I made it.
Absolutely.
I ran the whole time, and I did it.
Yes.
100%.
Building that confidence.
Absolutely. So I want to kind of round things out. And if you've listened to a couple of these and listen all the way through, not a lot of people do, but maybe if you have, we always like to end with a little quick question, and that is simple question of what does fitness mean to you? What is your definition of
What
fitness?
is your definition?
I think it's life. I think you have to be fit to function anymore. I mean, in today's world, it's too easy to sit on the couch and eat your chips and your cookies and I think you put that hour of fitness in your life a day and it changes your mind, it changes everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very good point, and like you said, very poignant in today's world where it's just too easy to drift off into sedentary, do nothing, stay on your phone.
Oh, I'm too busy to do that. I'm too busy to do that. Well, if you take an hour of your day and go take a walk, not that you come in here, but do something and
That's all we ask.
Off the couch.
Yep. Off the couch, off the carbs, right?
That's right.
That's what it is. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, Jayne. And thank you all for joining us on Everyday Athlete. Join us next week as we dive deep into the lives of those who make us great. Thanks again.
Thanks, Jayne.
thank you.